All right. So
these guys do this stuff for a living. I've been telling you guys that. All right, we're live.
Yeah,
all right. Now
We're live again.
Hey, man, we're hammering through here. We're having a lot of fun.
We're just pounding it here.
We're having a lot of fun. So there are storms in the area. So if anybody out there is, trying to travel to the Real Shot, just be safe. That's my go-to line. But we're gonna kind of go a little faster with some of these. Not to say you got to run someplace.
No, I don't have to go anywhere.
With the storms being out there, we want to make sure that everybody can get to where they need to be and make sure their boats don't blow away and everything like that.
Hopefully my boat's good. I've got a emergency parking brake on that Triton trailer, and I've got it locked down. But I don't have a rock under the tire, and I wouldn't expect it to be 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Well, I can send Mark a message, say, hey, can you go check on Randy's boat for him?
Yeah, just say swing by the driveway, make sure it's still sitting there. Good thing it's so flat out there. If it does blow it's going to go down to the lake, and it'll float anyway once it gets there.
Just be ready in the water for you tomorrow morning.
In the water.
Right. So we got Randy Howell sitting next to me. We appreciate you coming in today. I know it was a little bit of question mark if you could be here today, but you said I'm coming.
Good to be here, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
Here.
It is fun.
I'm glad you guys put his foot down like that.
Nah.
Kind of nice, man.
Yeah.
No, Daiwa's a good company. I love working for. Worked for a long time. And, we had this plan for so long. We had to make it work, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys.
I really appreciate it.
Getting our signature Tatula Elite rods in here with the reels and, selling stuff. That's what it's all about. We appreciate that a lot.
Well, and that's the thing. So if anybody's looking for some great quality Daiwa stuff, come down and see these guys. What better source to learn from?
Right.
Yeah, man. That's cool.
His name's actually on the rod.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I got a few. Yeah. We got to get some more of those in there. I didn't see many of mine over there on the
That's
ride.
because they're selling.
You had too many issues over there.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah,
He's not even here anymore.
He's just gone now.
Yeah, we can
stick up for
Now I
him.
can hammer
as much as we want.
I can hammer on him now. He's probably not listening to it on the radio driving or nothing.
Probably
Yeah, he'd have to have
not.
Facebook open.
Okay, good.
And he's got a rental car.
So we can talk about him then. We're good.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Well, cool, man. I know you can't talk a whole lot about how everything's going right now, but what's your thoughts on the bagel system?
Man, I tell you, I wish that I had known a little something about it. You guys all know Kurt, Dirty Jigs up here.
Oh, yeah.
Kurt. I saw Kurt yesterday in person there, and for like 5 or 6 years ago, we came up to Sturgeon Bay and what was the other place? Escanaba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, way back then, I talked to Kurt back then, just, when we were up north, and we talked about Winnebago, and he said, I asked him about the Winnebago. When I'd cross over, I'd see it. I said, how's that lake? And he would say, oh, man, it's an awesome smallmouth lake. You ever want to go fishing? And I never got any information about it way back then because I didn't think we would ever come here.
Right.
And lo and behold, 5 or 6 years later, here we are, and I didn't know anything about it. So all I remembered was Kurt saying it's an awesome smallmouth lake. So I didn't know it was a good largemouth lake. And everything I researched online publicly that we can research, just public information, everything talks about walleye, of course, so you couldn't get much bass info. So I really thought it was a smallmouth lake. So I wasted a day and a half of my 2 days of practice trying to find smallmouth.
Right.
And the water was so muddy, and I've never caught smallmouth in muddy water. And it still holds true. I thought, well, maybe it's a muddy water lake, and maybe the smallmouth just like muddy water here, but they didn't like muddy water because I never caught them, and that's why, because I think it was trash from all the wind for so many weeks of bad weather.
And we had a ton of rain, too.
Just like we got going on today. I mean,
so
we just can't get away from it.
So it's kind of weird. So I ended up scratching at the last minute and taking off to fish my strength. It's largemouth, shallow, and that's what majority of our guys do. And in the MLF format with no limits, everybody, we're chasing numbers a lot, and when you get in a numbers race with the best guys in the world, you can't fool around, idling around, reading your Lowrance for an hour or two, trying to find two smallmouth to drop down on or something. It's just you get killed. So I got on the largemouth bite and throwing my Cinco and my little shallow square bill Randy Howell crankbait crawfish. They're really eating a lot of crawfish on the lake right now.
Nice.
I caught 17 or 18 keepers yesterday, and that's kind of the two pattern thing I'm doing and catching a lot. I went through 3 packs of Cincos yesterday, and I was rambling around tonight this morning in my bags trying to find them. I got tons of them, but man, when you go through that many in a day, you don't realize you think you got plenty until you start digging around.
Right,
Like,
for
I only
sure.
got 3 packs left, but you guys have plenty of them on the rack if I need them in emergency.
Yeah, there you
I know
go.
where to go.
Well, and it's the right color as well. I mean, you could have a pile of different ones, but if it's not the right color,
green pumpkin, purple copper, and green pumpkin, purple green. That's my two go-tos
Okay.
everywhere I go in the Clearwater, and they eat it up here, man.
let me just make an announcement: stock your shelves, stock
Yeah.
your shelves. Go get as many of them out of the back as
those
you can.
two, man,
You
those
heard it
two
here.
colors, those two colors will catch bass anywhere, and you don't have to know anything. If you
Right.
can just throw it in the water, you will catch a bass on that Cinco. It's the fish catching this piece of plastic. It blows my mind. And these fish have been hammered, and these same fish. The weird thing too is 40 guys, in our format fish on Group A, and then 40 Group B, and then A and B again. And so the first day I was off, and B was my group yesterday. So when we're out there mentally, you don't know. It's tough because I know that 40 of the best guys were just out here yesterday, and they caught the heck out of fish. And everybody's on the west shoreline because that's where all the shallow water stuff kind of looked like it was. So I'm like, I know I'm fishing, and everybody has pounded this, and I'm fishing these canals that are just like obvious. And every time I catch one, I see he's been hooked 2 or 3 times probably this week already by practice, and then yesterday in the tournament, I'm like, I'm just glad they bite again anyway,
Right?
Because we'd be in trouble. And and again today they caught them pretty good again. So I'm anxious to get out there tomorrow because the water cleared up the last 2 or 3 days. It's calmed down a little and it's cleared up. And I noticed yesterday I was seeing the bottom really good in a couple of the bays that I wasn't seeing the bottom in, and the fish a bit better. And I think the smallmouth probably started showing up today because I see more weight today was caught by a lot of guys that were down. They caught 30 or 40 pounds a day, and I got a feeling some smallmouth are showing up. So I may try that a little bit tomorrow. I don't know. Depends on what this rain did to it overnight.
Does that kill you knowing that you can't watch it live, but it's out there?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what bugged me. You'd be tempted to be like, let me just see that.
Yeah, not if you got a 3-hour polygraph
Polygraph,
straight in the face. I wouldn't either.
Yeah,
right?
no, you definitely don't want to do anything. Have to worry about failing a polygraph. That's for sure.
And just reputation-wise, you're toast, man.
Yeah, that's
Fail
right.
some of those,
Right.
that's just, So you're sitting, 17th, I see?
Yeah,
tomorrow?
That's right,
So,
17th yesterday.
you're in a good position, though.
Yeah, I'm in a good place. I mean, I'm definitely happy to be there because the last 2 events at Table Rock, I was in 29th and in 27th, and I come back and made 19th and 20th both times. So I've had a hole to dig out of both times. So this time it's nice that I've got a couple pounds of cushion. So if I can just get out there and go back to catching them, we'll be able to hopefully cruise on out of Winnebago and go to Butamore.
Yep.
But
You
the
said it
more,
right.
but the
But the
more,
more,
but the
yeah,
more.
but the more.
I was going to say, you said it right.
Butamore.
I've been listening to you
I've
guys
learned.
butcher it all week.
But Butamore.
That Swindell said
Swindell,
that?
yeah.
Butt with warts?
Yeah, but warts and like Ish and them are saying polygon, and I'm like, it's no L in it, is it? It's no L. It's Poigon, right?
Poigon.
Poigon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you said it
see, I
right.
got it right. I'm a stickler for words, so I got to get it right.
Yeah, no,
You
Poigon.
nailed it, especially Butamore. That's
Yeah,
a tough one.
Yeah,
Yeah, you hit that right on the head. That's perfect.
Yeah, I learned.
But
My
this
wife
Morts.
trains me before I get to these places. She's an English person, so she gets it right. She
Oh,
lets me know
perfect.
right.
There you go.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
She wouldn't like the way I talk.
I'm really excited to see how this plays itself out. If you guys get to Butamore and then the top 10 on green, that's going to be
this
awesome.
is going to be exciting.
Yeah, I really would love to get the green just because that.
Now, you guys
man.
can go drive around, right?
Yeah, the first day you only have one
Your off day. Your
The
first off day, right?
Yeah, and I didn't do it, and so I haven't been there. So I went out there to just a boat launch and looked out there at it, but I didn't get a chance to go out on the water.
Okay.
So I figured I was struggling so bad on Winnebago.
Gotta get there, right?
I had to figure out I need to stay out here as long as I could. I didn't even go to Butamore. I hadn't even been there yet, so it'll be my first time because some guys were splitting the practice up going to
Right.
Butamore, but I was doing so bad on Winnebago to start with. I'm like, I'm not going to get to Butamore. Why am I going to go over there and play if I don't?
Right. I think
gotta
that's a
get over
smart
here.
approach, really. I mean, you got to get there first,
get
and I'll
there.
worry about it when I get there.
Yeah.
Step at a time.
And in the points, trying to make the Red Crest, I was in 37th. I was 13 points out of 30th, so I'm just right outside that bubble line. So I need to make that 40 cut, and then that'll get me in position to try to make the top 25. And I think if I can mathematically, average-wise, you never know, but if I can make the top 25, I might can pull myself in. So
Right.
we're in the right direction, going the right direction to get there.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully the weather plays out tomorrow, and it should be a good day. I mean,
Yeah, this storm's supposed to blow through.
Right.
And it's supposed to be nice the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So.
Gonna get hot.
Hot,
then, I
yeah.
think.
Hot again,
Yeah, you're gonna get
yeah.
some of that northern humidity. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it got hot yesterday, man. I was surprised how hot it was yesterday.
Right.
But I mean, we're used to hot.
I was
but
just
you
saying
never
it's not
like-
110 though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything like that. But when you come up here, you want to have it. You want it to be cool and crisp. You know, that's what you hear about all the
Right,
time. You know?
right.
And then yesterday, I was out there sweating like I do in Alabama. It felt like for a while. When you get in those bays and canals with no wind blowing
Oh,
yesterday,
yeah.
it was pretty hot. And
Yeah.
the gnats were all out. Man,
Ugh.
it was nasty.
So I got a list of questions here, and we've been asking obviously questions, but I asked some of the staff here at the store and everything like that, and they put together some real good questions for you guys. So one of the things is, what are you doing in the off season? What other kind of hobbies do you have?
Man, I tell you, nowadays it's really, for a long time for me, it's not really been much of an off season anymore because you just don't have tournaments. But I've got so many companies we represent. Sponsors keep you on the go because this time of year when we're fishing tournaments so much, we can't do a lot of promotions except for specialties like this when we're in town. So a lot of commitments, 4 or 5 days a year for 20 different companies. That adds up
Right.
a lot. And so I do a lot of that. And I speak at a lot of events. I speak at a lot of churches and wild game dinners and sportsman dinners and hunting events, stuff like that. So we go and do a lot of that. I probably do 25 of them a year, and a majority of them being like September through January.
Oh.
So that keeps me about every weekend we go somewhere to do that on the off season. And then I like to saltwater fish. We don't do it a whole lot, but living in Alabama, we're about 5 hours from Pensacola and that Gulf Coast, so we'll go down there 1 or 2 times a year and catch redfish and go offshore and catch snapper and stuff. So I enjoy doing that. And play basketball a lot. That's our other hobby, basketball.
Oh,
Me and my
nice.
boys, we're from North Carolina originally, me and my wife before we moved to Alabama. And so we're big, I help coach basketball there in town in
Duke or
Gunnersville.
North Carolina?
Carolina, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And then Oakley, my 13-year-old, he's my little baller, and he's a daggum Duke fan,
I was gonna say, what
He
are
won-
they, like 7 miles apart or something?
Yeah, he wanted to be a rebel and he gets go against me, I think, and pull for Duke. So,
Yeah, that's-
so we have a good rivalry now going on in house, especially
That's-
this year because we beat Duke twice and then they beat us when it counted there toward the end. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they had a stud of a ball player there in that Zion Williams.
Oh
Man.
gosh, yeah, he'll be fun to watch now in the NBA. So
Yep.
we'll see
Nice.
what he does.
Okay. Another question. Go to boat snack. What are you packing in the morning before you guys head out?
Man, it's bad because I like to try to eat healthy, but I eat junk. I'm a sweet tooth guy, and you see how skinny I am. I have to eat. I got to eat junk food just to keep my weight up, because you starve to death anyway when you fish like this format. You never get to eat except for that 15-minute break.
I was gonna say those breaks are nice.
Yeah,
though.
that's a quick little break to shove something down. But I tell you, I like my go-to boat snack is that little devil cream cake, that little
Oh,
chocolate with the white
man.
cream in it. The little,
Ooh,
that's my
yeah.
snack. That's
I gotta-
it.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah,
Yeah. I wish we had a pile of them right
That's
now.
my
Yeah,
treat.
you and I both do.
that's my treat.
Except we don't have that whole skinny guy
we
problem.
don't have to eat to maintain
No.
weight, dude.
I'm trying to do the opposite.
Yeah, we just look at it and I gain 10 pounds.
Yeah, yesterday I wanted that cake so bad, and I needed to catch a few more fish. And every time I'd get down to get a Cinco out of the bag, I keep my Cincos in the cooler so they don't get hot and get too
there's a
soft.
tip.
So
There's
I
a
pull them
tip.
out, and every time I look in there, I'd see my cake. I'm like, you can't have that till you're done at 3 o'clock, and you got to be in the top 20. That's my motivation.
Oh,
So-
there you go.
So I was in
Nice.
17th, so I ate that cake riding back in, and it was good.
It was.
The
Yeah.
best tasting cake
Yeah,
ever so
it is.
far.
Yeah.
That's a good answer right there.
Yeah,
man.
that's
I like
awesome.
that
I like
one.
that.
Let's see. This one's been pretty good question for a lot of you guys. Do you remember your first combination? Like when
Like
you were
fishing combo.
Fishing combination. Doesn't have to be Daiwa. I mean, Ish lied. I think I'm gonna call him out. He said it was a Daiwa, and that's when it started a love affair. And then Cody's like, I think it was an ugly stick.
Yeah, I bet it was. It's probably a Shakespeare
Yeah.
with a glow tip on it.
Yeah, you did. You said that with the
Yeah.
Push button,
Yeah.
push button,
Yeah.
spin
With a glow
cast.
tip.
Right?
He
Yeah.
still secretly fishes that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Did you remember that one?
I'm trying to think. how young, as far as how far back. I think what's coming to my mind is my dad was a big fisherman, and he was, he loved the old Berkeley lightning rods, the old Hank Parker, the old pistol grip, and the old Bantam mags. Remember the old Shimano Bantam mags back in the old days, and then the Daiwa. What was that Daiwa? It was an old Daiwa. My dad he only had like probably 10 reels or whatever, and like half of them were that silver Bantam mag, and half of them were the old black Daiwa, and I think it was called I don't know if it was a light and tough back in the old days or something, but it was some reel that was old and beat up, and it still worked good, and he gave them to me to fish with all the time. So that's
perfect.
But it's pistol grip. That's the only rods I remember, because when I started getting into more tournaments as a teenager, I got I was friends with Woo Daves. Y'all know Woo Daves from the old Bassmaster day, but Woo Daves, y'all don't know Woo Daves? He won the Bassmaster Classic in Chicago.
You'd have to ask this guy.
Yeah, but I'm a recent convert. I grew up walleye fishing, man. I've only been. I switched over to bass about 3 years ago now.
Okay, so I'll give you off the hook then. You live too close to Chicago, though, because I figured y'all would know. Woo Daves won the 2000 Bassmaster Classic, but that's been 19 years ago now. So y'all are not that much younger than me, are you? How old are you?
I'm 35.
35.
I'll be 40.
40. So I'm 45.
39.
I'm 45. So I guess y'all don't know.
We
Woo
should
Daves.
know who he is.
So
I
Woo
guess.
Woo was
My bad.
he was one of the the legends of the sport, like Paul Elias and Larry Nixon in that group, Jimmy Houston in that same group. But he lived in Virginia there, close to me in North Carolina, and he was a Zebco Quantum guy. So I got hooked up with Quantum, and I used Quantum from 15 years old up till I got on with Daiwa, like in 2006 or 7. And so that when I first started using the Quantums with those long cork handles on them, my dad used to say, "Man, what are you going to surf fish with that big handle on that rod?" Like, no, Dad, you got some leverage, man. I can set the hook and pull fish out, and that little pistol grip, you're just trying to hold that little old handle.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's my memory, though, of my combo. That's probably what it was.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we talked about MLF. We've actually on this show we've talked about MLF a lot.
Yeah,
the new format. Matt and I are both pretty excited about it. What are your feelings on the internet land? There's a lot of talk about Big Five versus MLF format and every fish counts, all that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts on all that? I mean, obviously, you probably like the format.
I love the catching numbers. I love not having a limit. I'll tell you, I've done this for 27 years. I started when I was 18, right out of high school. So I've done Bassmaster my whole life. I did FLW, and my first major win was on FLW when I was 23 years old, and that's what gave me $100,000 to kind of get out of debt to make it on the tour before I had much sponsors. And so I've been a little burnt out the last several years just on the on Bassmaster side, just doing the same thing, and the politics of the sport and just the whole way the stuff was going over there. It was just kind of where it was not fun like it used to be, and so that's why you saw all of the 80 of the best anglers on both sides all come together so quickly and easily to be a part of this group, because everybody was excited about a change, and being able to be in control of our own destiny to make things better for everybody, no entry fees, and truly elevate it to a higher level that we know we can do. And but just the thought of going back to just trying to catch 5 deal would be so hard for me now mentally, because I've done it for so long. And I've it's like my boys are both fish high school fishing, and I boat captain for them. So just recently I've been boat captain.
That's not
for them.
fair, by the way.
Yeah, that's
right. I mean, seriously,
I don't know.
Get on the internet like everybody else. Go ahead.
Look at the Van Dam family. It's not really working out for that right now.
No, but I mean, I'm talking at the high school level. Randy Howell shows up. Boy, here's my boat captain.
Yeah, but he's probably the same way.
Yeah, I ain't been on the lake.
No, you know what I'm saying.
And I ain't even been on the lake yet. That's what I have to always say. And you hear that a lot, but I just drive the boat and let Laker tell me where he wants to go. Right. He don't like me to try to tell him where to go.
So what do you think it is with the fans that are so stuck on the Big Five, coming from a guy who's obviously done it forever?
Yeah.
Wanted to change. Do you think it's just change and it's just people are?
I think it's change, and I also think that the squeaky wheel always makes the most noise, and I don't think I think if you could go out in all those little chat rooms and add up all those people that make the most noise, I don't think you could fit them all in this store. I think I really don't think it's as many people, but the noise, those people make the most noise, and then it spreads around, and people love to, join in on bashing and talking about stuff on the internet. You know how that is, but I really don't think it's that many people, because I go around a lot of places and states and work at a lot of events all around the country at stores and stuff, and everybody I see everywhere loves it, and they watch it, and it's an excitement to it that they haven't had before, and to watch fishing, and especially a lot of the wives and girlfriends and families and people that never really cared about fishing or watched it. They love to watch it, even though they don't fish themselves. So I think
I just think that there's nonstop action, right?
It's
super energy.
Yeah.
It could be a long day if a guy's trying to get 5 bites or 6 bites or whatever.
Boring.
That's
it's boring.
a long day to watch that.
It's boring, and even and we've even had discussions in our angler groups. We're all working to tweak and make things as good as possible and make changes, and we've even talked about, at some events, specialty type events or places where there may be a bigger fish class there, having a 2-pound, minimum instead of a 1-pound minimum. And we talked about it, at Table Rock, because on the second Table Rock event. But then you go back and look, though, and there was some ridiculous 17,000 bass weighed in at Table Rock. But if you look at, I think it was a ridiculous amount that were under 2 pounds. And so if you take away all those fish that were under 2 pounds, is it boring again? Because the drama comes on that 20 cut line when you got 5 guys, just like today, 5 guys, 6 guys trying to get in that 20. And it don't matter how bad that little 1 pound, 2 ounce bass seems to the average guy fishing, that 1 pounder made me jump him,
you could see it when Edwin was fishing today. The
pressure,
number 1
you see
angler
it.
of the year, whatever that title is, plus just trying to make it to the next round. I mean, you could see it just as the time went.
The pressure is
you could see it building up on him.
It's awful.
You could see it.
He summed it up pretty good today. He just said that I couldn't have done anything different.
Right.
He goes, I did everything I knew to do, and that was all. I left it on the water, and he would think about that. They were commenting. Can you imagine him tomorrow just watching and over the rest of the weekend? You guys think I got it, bound up energy.
That was what I was going to ask you, too, on now you fish tournaments forever, the score tracker. Mm-hmm. I've never fished with that. I've fished a lot of tournaments myself, not at your level, right? But knowing what everybody else is doing has got to be a mental killer.
Man,
oh, yeah.
It's so hard.
Not what they're doing, but
what their weights are.
How far am I behind all of a sudden? Instantly get an update. What? I'm 10 pounds back?
Yeah. It was, I'm telling you, that just coming here yesterday was a big relief over fishing at Table Rock, because at Table Rock, if you kept up with that, I mean, you had to catch a bass every 7 or 10 minutes, or you were going to get behind. There were so many being caught, because in Smith Lake too, all the spotted bass lakes, we're going to always see the ridiculous numbers. When we get off the spotted bass lakes, it gets back to here now, where it's a normal, steady pace, but not ridiculous pace.
Right.
So it was a relief just having it that way. But still, yesterday, I started out slow, and I do that a lot for some reason. I don't know why. I just don't get a fast start sometimes, and I get down, and then I have to kind of come back. And I had to do that yesterday. And when I finally got it going and got coming back, I got all the way up to 12th, and you finally start to just feel just a little bit of not relaxed, but a little bit less pressure. And then I go 30 minutes, and I haven't caught one in 30 minutes, and all of a sudden I'm back down to 17th, and now I'm looking at the 20, and your boat official keeps saying now first I had gotten he said you're 6 pounds something above 20th place. I'm like, oh, good, that's good. I haven't been there in a long time, and all of a sudden you're 3 pounds, 2 ounces above 20th, and then you're 14 ounces above 20th place.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
See, I think,
oh God,
I think that once we get some smaller, and I know you guys are working on the feeder system or whatever, but I think once more guys get to experience
that's right.
It'll change their mind on the format. Again, that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think once guys can be in the boat and experience what it feels like to be falling backwards, and I can't do anything about it type of deal, once you get to experience it, I think that changes everybody's attitude.
It forces the issue a little bit more, too. I mean, you got to change your tactics.
It's going to change your mindset.
Pressure is on you
for sure.
It's got to drive you nuts.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. As that builds, the Fishers of Men tournament trail, y'all have that up here in some parts. I know it's in 37 divisions. so I imagine some fishermen tour around here, but they're going to that format for next year on their trail, and they've already experimented a little with it last year at Lake Murray in the South Carolina division, and they said it was just awesome after the guys did it.
Yep.
And then some of the college tournaments this year that we've put together at, like in Tennessee and in Arkansas and different in Table Rock. So the college guys are coming in fishing it, and I've kind of been a part of that. And just to listen to those college kids that are just eat up with fishing, and they are fishing 5-fish limit tournaments, and all of a sudden they got to do this for one day,
yep.
and all of a sudden just like, wow, every one of them are like just blowing the roof
catching
off.
fish is fun.
It is, because that's why we all got into fishing was to catch fish.
Right.
Know?
Catching fish is fun.
And sometimes that 5-fish limit deal, if you think about how much that really hurts, the fun of fishing,
yep.
Honestly, because I've done it all my life for a living, and I can't really say I've enjoyed it a whole lot. It's bad to say that, but I haven't enjoyed the competition part as much. I enjoy everything else about it, but the hardcore competition on Bassmaster, all the years of having to catch the 5 biggest fish, it takes a lot of the fun out of it. And even though this format is more stressful than anything ever, it's still fun. Even when I'm getting beat, it's still fun, because like at Smith Lake, I finished 70th out of 80 guys, and I caught 40 some pounds, and I still finished 70th out of 80, but I caught a lot of fish, and I didn't feel like I didn't know what I was doing. I just feel like I didn't do good enough, And
see, I think the real mental mind, you know the rest of that one, is if you were fishing a spot, other guy comes through, you see what he's throwing. Ish comes through, he's throwing a frog. Hey, what does he got? He's like 15 pounds ahead of you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been here all day.
Digging in the rod box,
you know
trying
what
to
I
find
mean?
that rod.
Like, what?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like yesterday. I was, a lot of us are fishing all around each other, and I'm like starting out pretty slow and not catching much, and I'm struggling, and I'm worn, and I'm getting in my mentally. I'm sitting there thinking, am I fishing? Am I trying to catch fish that got caught yesterday, because I was in them real small areas, and I'm not. I catch a few, and I finally catch a few, and it's like 4 or 5 of us started in this one area, and I get behind everybody in there, and I'm seeing everybody ahead of me catching them, and they've got 1 and 2 or 3, and all of a sudden I go along behind them, and I change up, and I catch a couple fish behind one guy, and a couple behind Takahiro, and then I look, and then I'm like, Takahiro, what place he in? He's leading. I'm like, geez, he's in front of me up here, and he's caught. So now it's like, oh my gosh. So now I'm like, well, if I could have got here,
good area.
Yeah, I know.
Now I'm getting my ass kicked.
Right?
But now I'm fishing behind him, and he's catching. He's already caught all the easy ones. Now what am I going to do? That's where the mental sides. That's when it comes.
See, that's what I think. Guys that are complaining, the squeaky wheels, like you said, complaining about the format, just haven't felt that.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know what that added pressure is to know what that guy's doing. You can assume, but you don't know.
It puts the fun back in it, because it puts real sport, like what we all watch football, we all watch basketball, and we all watch other major sports.
When the other team scores.
Because there's a fourth quarter feeling in that sport that you don't get that feeling in normal bass tournaments, and now we do have that feeling, because it's like a fourth quarter feeling all the time.
And you could see that today, again, like with Evers trying to make that cut to try to secure Angler of the Year.
Yeah.
You could tell that last 2 hours of the third period.
Gosh, I bet.
You could see the pressure just just coming down on them.
It's like trying to throw a Hail Mary or hit that 3-pointer at the buzzer.
I can't even imagine.
Bad. It's a bad feeling. I feel bad for him just thinking about it, because we can't watch any of that, so I don't know what happened. But I know I was watching Score Tracker, and I saw him jump in and jump out, jump in, and I thought, well, he's so good and so on a roll that he'll pull it out in the end, and then he didn't. So it's like, gosh, I can't imagine how stressed and uptight he was, And the bad thing now, he can't do nothing else about it. And now the pressure will be watching Jeff Sprague tomorrow, because now all Sprague knows he's got to do is make the cut tomorrow, and he'll win Angler of the Year.
Right.
And basically, because if he just makes the cut, he'll probably win it. So now he's going to be the one to say. Yeah, he was in 25th.
He's in 25th. So he's got some pressure on him too.
I think they picked a great body of water for one of the last one.
Yeah,
I think
true.
they did good. They did good in helping find that body of water.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
Well, cool.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate you sitting in the chair with us.
That's fun, man.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Fun.
He seems like he just wants to sit here and keep talking.
I know. You're welcome to
That's
sit
what I
here.
do,
Let's
man.
get him another headset here.
I'm a talker, man.
I want to see. I want to get like Stephen Browning up here now, and I want to get him. And let's.
I need to tell you.
Let's just grab
Should I just leave? You just want to sit down with these guys?
I need to tell you a
Cody
Meyer story over there. Cody yesterday. Hey, Cody, can you hear me over there?
Oh, yeah, he can hear you.
We were talking about score tracker. Listen, yesterday we pull in there in the 30-minute ride around. We got like 15 minutes, so I run. I'm boat 2, so I run and get to where I want to go, and I'm having a hard time choosing where I should start, like 100 yards over there or 100 yards over here. And I get right about here, and I'm like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And I'm like, I don't know if anybody's going over there, but I know everybody's going over here. So I go over here, and now 4 or 5 competitors all go past me, and I up in this canal. And I'm like, now I'm behind everybody. And I turn and look back, and I'm going to go, and I see Cody Meyer pulling up right at the other place. And then soon I said, well, it'll be all right. And in like 15 minutes, Cody Meyer, score tracker update, Cody Meyer, score tracker update, Cody Meyer just called it out. And I said, shut up. Don't tell me about Cody Meyer.
Turn it off.
That's why I started so bad, because I was shook up over Cody Meyer yesterday.
Take that coin and throw that baby overboard, because that was the wrong flip on that one.
Yeah, I do that a lot too. Gosh.
Nice.
So anyway, it was fun.
Cool, Randy. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Hey, before you hop out of that chair, you mind signing this for me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I get to keep that. That's a nice Daiwa bag. What is that? What kind is that?
Is
that yours?
That's mine.
That's yours. Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
You're just kiting autographs right at the table.
Are you the top salesman of the month or something? You got this bag?
You used to be one of them.
You look inside here?
What is
that
that
travel kit, dude.
Is that for a pool cue in there?
It's
a pool.
Kind of like a pool.
It's like a pool box.
It is a little bit like a pool
cue. There's a travel kit in here. I can't even open it up right now.
Travel kit. I haven't even seen a travel kit.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that. Oh, with the rod and reel deal. I didn't even have one of those. I need one of those.
Hey, I tell you.
I'll let my kids see this.
I was going to say, you think your kids would want one of these, hey? Because they try.
I got this reel. I've got these reel.
That's a
that's a good little reel.
Man.
I've got 3
ultralights.
ultralights.
I love this kit.
Like
I bought it. We went up north this last weekend, so I bought it for that purpose, and it goes together nicely.
Oh, that is nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get some of them.
Hey, I
know a guy.
They're for sale right there.
They're for sale right there.
I don't think he buys Daiwa.
I know.
I like the 5-finger discount. Yeah.
I love it.
I know Greg. See, I get it. Greg will send me
awesome.
one. Him and Kurt, one of them will.
Yeah, those are nice. You should get a couple for the family.
Yeah. Yes, right.
That's awesome.
You know what they need to do is a bait caster like this.
Yeah, I know.
What's that?
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
My kid would buy one of those in about 12 seconds.
Oh, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
if there was a certain bait cast reel that could be a part of that, dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's a
me get
really
Brownie.
expensive combo.
Y'all want to get Brownie in here now?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
grab.
let's
I'll
get
go
him.
grab him.
Hey, Brownie. Come on, Brownie.
Oh, now
We
he's
call him
talking.
Brownie. That's his nickname.
Oh, Brownie.
boy.
Can we use that one?
Ask him why he don't catch any brownfish. His nickname is
All right,
Brownie.
we're going to ask him. We're going to ask him.
I'm taking notes here on what I got to ask these guys, and I wish Fred Rhombus was supposed to show up, but we're supposed to ask him about bananas.
Oh,
Do you know that?
I eat banana every day in my boat now. I'm one of the guys.
See,
That's
there you
not,
go.
I'm not
There you
superstitious,
go.
but Rabanus and
Whenever you're ready.
I think Jeff Creed is probably the most superstitious, and Rabanus might be too. I don't know, but I eat one every day, so I'm not
Yeah,
scared.
see,
of
I'm not wrong. I'm
Yeah.
not wrong, Brian.
I'm afraid.
Some guys are crazy though. Thanks.
I'm afraid.
Yeah, we watch. Come on, join
No
right in.
fun at all.
We're just going to keep rolling right with you.